Please welcome our mayor, Buddy Dyer.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the October 1st, 2012 regularly scheduled meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation offered by Sarah Van Ardsdale, Executive Director of the Orange County Regional History Center. Ms. Ardsdale has served as Executive Director of the Center and of the Historical Society of Central Florida since 1986. She's a graduate of East Carolina University with a BA in Anthropology and a graduate of the Museum Management Institute at the University of California, Berkeley. Her accomplishments include the completion of a $35 million conversion of the old 1927 Orange County Courthouse to the Orange County Regional History Center, which opened on September 29, 2000. And in 2006, the center was awarded national accreditation status by the American Association of Museums, an achievement which is awarded to less than 5% of the museums on a national basis. The invocation will be followed by the pledge led today by District 6 Commissioner Sam Ings. If you could all join me in standing.
Mayor, Commissioner, citizens, and distinguished guests, before I read this short piece, I just want to remind you all that we all are making history today. It is a new year, and I think what I will say is very appropriate for this. But it's also an opportunity for us to remember that we, on a daily basis, with each of our personal decisions that we make history, whether it's good history, bad history, indifferent history. It is indeed all history, and we all leave our mark. This is something that I have in my office, and when I first read it, first found it, it was around this time of year, and I thought that this is very appropriate. This is Native American. I will be still and steady. If, like a Cherokee warrior, I can look at the new year as an opportunity to stand on new ground, then strength and courage are on my side. I will remember that things do work out, bodies do heal, relationships mend not because I said it, but because I believe it. But it is time to make things right, to stay on the path. As water runs free and fresh from the woodland spring, so new life and meaning will bubble up from my own inner source. I will be still and steady because there is nothing to be gained by showing fear in a chaotic world. This is by Joyce Hiffler. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sarah. If we looked a little confused, it's because we generally have an American flag down there, so we're used to turning in that direction. And Alana, what has happened to that flag?
I'll have to find it, maybe.
Okay.
Someone borrowed it, I'm sure.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Commissioner Lynham? Here. Commissioner Ings?
here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's take up for consideration the workshop agenda review and council meeting minutes from the September 10th, 2012 meetings, as well as the 501 September 18th budget hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, we have several awards, presentations, and recognitions today, and I'm going to call on Alan Johnson for the first presentation.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners and guests.
It's an honor today to stand before you to represent and to present to you one of our great partners at the Bob Carr Performing Arts Center, not only at the Performing Arts Center, but throughout Orlando for the great things that this organization does. And we've partnered with them for over 24 years on presenting the great and newest Broadway shows that tour around the country. And this time I'd like to welcome up to the podium Ron Legler, CEO and President of Florida Theatrical Association.
Thank you, Alan. Mayor Dyer, City Council, and members of our community, thank you for having me here today. I'm Ron Legler, and I'm the President and CEO of Florida Theatrical Association. Florida Theatrical is the nonprofit presenter of Fairwinds Broadway Across America, Orlando. Tomorrow, we open our new season with a nearly sold-out engagement of Disney's smash hit Beauty and the Beast. But today, I'm here to present the City of Orlando with a check in the amount of $142,157.77. This represents 1/3 of the presenting profit from our 2011 season of touring Broadway in Orlando. This amount is above and beyond rent, salaries, food and beverage, parking, and merchandise. It only reflects the profit of the partnership formed 24 years ago by Florida Theatrical and the City of Orlando. I'm happy to inform you that in the city's 24-year agreement, they have never lost $1 in presenting touring Broadway. Also, that Florida Theatrical has never applied or accepted city, county, or United Arts funding. In fact, we have funded over $1.5 million in local scholarships and grants to students and local nonprofit arts organizations. We are fortunate that Orlando has an awesome season ticket holder base of over 8,500 patrons. This ranks us in the top 5 one-week markets in the country across the Broadway Across America platform. Almost 2 years ago, Florida Theatrical invested all of its presenting profits back into downtown Orlando in a $5 million project which includes our offices, a community theater called the Abbey, and a banquet space named the Mez, all located in the Sanctuary Building at 100 South Eola Drive. You, Mayor, along with Commissioner Patty Sheehan, Frank Billingsley, Thomas Chapman, and Timothy Johnson have been instrumental in helping us turn the tide on a neighborhood that was filled with empty condos, closed commercial and retail spaces. The newly named Eola Square is only 1 block, from Church Street to Pine Street on South Eola Drive, but it is now packed with over 13 businesses, including the Abbey, the Mez, Sonoma Drought House, Prickly Pear, Mucho's, Nick's Italian Kitchen, and the almost completed Aura Bar and Restaurant, and Don't Tell Anyone Lounge. Eola Square has become a vibrant area featuring art, dining, entertainment, and live music. Our spaces are thriving and being used by nearly all of Orlando's civic, arts, and community organizations, including Knapford School, the Orlando Ballet, Downtown Arts District, the Orlando Philharmonic, St. Jude's Hospital, Best Buddies, MBA, Florida Hospital, UCF, Hope and Help, Ronald McDonald Charity House, and many, many more. We have helped these organizations raise over $1 million in just 2 short years by offering a risk-free rent strategy that grants access to everyone. We are currently booked 1 year in advance in the Mez and almost 6 months in advance in the Abbey. As you can see, these were much-needed community spaces. Next year, Florida Theatrical will enter into its 25th year anniversary season. We are working closely with our loyal sponsor, Fairwinds Credit Union, and our nationally recognized city partner, Alan Johnson, to ensure the last season at the Bob Carr will be our best season ever. Florida Theatrical and its partner, Broadway Across America, are currently presenting Broadway in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Jacksonville, and our brand new partner in Naples. Although we just signed a 10-year extension agreements in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, no one has to tell you that Orlando has my heart. We are so excited to see the fantastic progress in the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. We have every intention to continue to serve our patrons and our community as the Broadway partner in Orlando. We thank all of you for your continued support and love of the arts. Thank you for having me today.
Now we have a moment to recognize two long-serving employees of the City of Orlando, and Vic Godlewski will make the first award.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. I don't have a check to present, but I have the next best thing, Frank Cook. Frank is a maintenance supervisor with our Water Conserve 2 water reclamation facility. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Frank. Frank was born and raised in Tennessee, where he grew up with one brother, one sister, 81 cows, and one bull. He can give you some stories about the bull in a private setting. He joined the Marines after high school graduation and rose to the rank of Marine Gunnery Sergeant. He also served in Southeast Asia, where he was wounded. Fortunately, he's recovered. Field artillery was his specialty, and he concluded his service to our country by training Marines in field artillery at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. He was honorably discharged in 1976 and began his career then in public works. After 11 years working for the city of Chattanooga, he and his wife Linda moved to Orlando in 1987. At that time, Frank was hired by the city as a mechanic 2 at the Conserve 2 facility, where he currently serves as the maintenance supervisor. Frank has contributed to many in-house projects, saving the city and our ratepayers money by providing efficient services and avoiding the use of outside contractors. We've been very fortunate to have Frank's dedication and know-how for the last 25 years. Frank is planning to retire early next year to 24 acres in Tennessee. He plans to continue his interest in things that go boom by pursuing his hobby of building working replicas of Civil War-era cannons. Frank and Linda have a daughter, Heather, who is a physician at Florida Hospital. So join me in thanking Frank for his lifetime of service to our country and to the city of Orlando.
All right, Richard Kamaka, Sign and Pavement Marking Supervisor in the Transportation Engineering Division, will explain the next award.
Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon, everyone. Antonio Escalera has been an employee at the Signs and Marking Shop for 25 years. Tony, as we know him, started his career as a traffic technician 1. His duties were to install and maintain roadway markings. His current title is Traffic Technician Senior, where he oversees, review, and inspects signs and markings installations by city employees on contractors. Over the 25 years, Tony has proven himself to be dependable and has accomplished management goals. Tony has intricate knowledge of the city's traffic signs, pavement markings, and street network. I was so impressed as a new employee to the section when, at a moment's notice, Tony drove me to all 15 locations of the Welcome to Orlando signs without the use of a map or list. Please note that these signs were installed 20 years ago. Tony has also played an important role in the setup and implementation of traffic control devices for major special events ranging from Light Up Orlando, World Cup soccer, parades, Citrus Bowl events, fireworks at the fountain, Magic games, just to name a few. Tony has been reliable in urgent situations where last-minute work is needed, and he has always been willing to step up to these challenges. In addition, Tony takes great pride in his work and is always willing to share his knowledge with others. For his efforts, dedication, and 25 years of service, we would like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation to Tony Escalera.
Okay, Anna Palenzuela, our Human Resources Director, will explain an award or a recognition that the City of Orlando has received from the Orlando Sentinel relating to the top 100 companies for working families.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Yes, the City of Orlando has been recognized by the Orlando Sentinel as a top 100 company for working families. The Orlando Sentinel's top 100 companies for working families, that's a mouthful, now it's in 19th year, is the premier program that recognizes employers that demonstrate a commitment to family and work-life balance. Each year, the Orlando Sentinel invites companies in Central Florida to submit an application. The application process consists of a series of questions that look at core benefits, family-related benefits, work environment, communication, and training. There are two size categories: companies with fewer than 250 employees and companies that have 200 employees or more. The final top 100 list is comprised of the top 15 companies in each category. We faced tough competition this year, since about 700 companies made application, but we made it. We are honored to be recognized as a top 100 company, and we were the only municipality on the list. This recognition would not be possible with your support, Mayor Dyer, commissioners, and the senior leadership team at the city for fostering an environment that values and supports work-life balance. Mayor, I would like to present the award.
Thank you. All right, next up is Marcia to introduce City Year Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. The city is really fortunate to have its inaugural City Year Orlando program in 5 Metro Orlando schools. In fact, the Corporation for National and Community Services Executive Director, Wendy Spencer, who was appointed by President Obama last year, will be here for the official kickoff of City Year Orlando on October 12th. Mayor Dyer, you have provided a lot of leadership which was needed to help ensure community support of this evidence-based program, and the City Year Board and staff really thank you for that. It is my pleasure to serve as the city's representative on the City Year Orlando Board, and also it is my great pleasure today to introduce Jordan Plant, who is Vice President and Executive Director of City Year Orlando, who's here with some members of City Year for a brief overview of the progress being made. Jordan?
Thank you, Mayor Dyer and Commissioners. I'm happy to be here. City Year is an education-focused nonprofit. It's a national organization, and here in Orlando and across the country, we recruit, train, and hire 17 to 24-year-olds who dedicate a year of their lives to serve full-time in high-need schools to mentor, tutor, and serve as role models for struggling students. The end game is really to help students stay in school and on track for graduation. Here in Orlando, we are in our founding year, as Marcia mentioned, and we are serving in 5 schools. We're serving in Oak Ridge High School and 2 feeder middle schools, Walker Middle School and Memorial Middle School. We're also serving in Evans High School and Meadowbrook Middle School. Really, it wouldn't be possible to be here if we didn't have the incredible support of the Orange County Public School System and the city and the county who really advocated for this program to come here. And I wanted to take a moment on behalf of my board and my staff to thank the incredible supporters that we have. Again, the city, the county, OCPS, CSX, the Darden Foundation, JP Morgan Chase, Heart of Florida United Way, Wells Fargo, SunTrust, Lynx, the Michael and Kim Ward Foundation, the Brad and Corey Meltzer Foundation, the Tupperware Brands Foundation, and Volunteer Florida. And as Marcia mentioned, we do have an exciting event coming up on Friday, October 12th, to which the entire community is welcome to join us for our kickoff opening day ceremony. It will be hosted at City Walk and start at 9:30 a.m. And we'd love to have the community support to come encourage and cheer on our 50 17 to 24-year-olds who are dedicating a year of their lives to serve our students here in Orange County. Again, thank you so much, Mayor and the city, for all of your support.
City of Orlando proclamation. Whereas every 26 seconds a student in America gives up on school and more than 1 million drop out every year. And whereas City Year deploys diverse teams of young adults who dedicate a year to serve in America's highest need schools. And whereas City Year Corps members provide the extra people power needed by focusing on the early warning signs of dropping out, including poor attendance, disruptive behavior, and course failure in reading and math. And whereas City Year Corps members will directly serve students in one-on-one and small group settings, supporting nearly 3,000 students across 5 Metro Orlando schools. And whereas City Year's targeted research-driven approach can help keep Orlando students in school and on track to succeed. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim Friday, October 12th as City Year Orlando Day in the City of Orlando.
Thank you. Oops, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and Marcia is up again for an introduction of National Arts and Humanities Month in the City of Orlando and a special introduction of our new President and CEO of United Arts of Central Florida.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners and everyone. It is really a pleasure to be here to introduce, I think, our first national recognition of Arts and Humanities Month. And Mayor Dyer and each Commissioner has been such a leader in supporting the arts in our region and in our city, and especially emphasizing the importance of the arts and humanities in creating a strong quality of life and expanding regional economic development. It has been my pleasure to work with many of the arts organizations as a liaison to those organizations in the community, and we're very fortunate today to have many leaders and representatives from our most impactful and involved arts organizations here with us to celebrate today. But as Mayor Dyer mentioned, it is my great pleasure to introduce for the first time at our City Council meeting the new President and CEO of United Arts, Flora Maria Garcia, who has just hit the ground running, and we're glad she came. We're glad you left Atlanta and came to Orlando, much better city to be in, and she's doing a fantastic job. I'm sure most of you have met her. And Flora Maria, would you come up and give a brief introduction?
Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer, members of the Commission. If I haven't met you yet, I'll be coming around and meeting with you in your offices one-on-one. I really want to know what you have to say, your ideas, and get some of your wisdom to help me do the work that I do. So I look forward to meeting you if I haven't yet already. I want to also recognize my colleagues who are here today from the arts and cultural community. Would you all just stand up and wave so that they see who's here? There's a broad range of small, medium, and large cultural groups and individual artists here and board members as well. The nonprofit arts and culture industry generates $264 million in annual economic activity for Central Florida. We employ in excess of 8,900 people, and we generate $36 million in local and state government revenues. Equally important, the arts enrich and inspire our lives and the lives of our children. Through education, recreation, through creativity and variety, and through history and sciences. The arts should be celebrated every day, but October is the month to commemorate them in a big way. The National Arts and Humanities Month is a coast-to-coast collective recognition of the importance of the arts and culture in America, designed to encourage every American, young and old, to explore new facets of the arts and humanities in their lives and to begin a lifelong habit of active arts participation. Get out in your community and enjoy our rich cultural offerings during Arts and Humanities Month. See Mad Cow Theater, the Orlando Ballet, or even Cirque du Soleil for free, thanks to the Creative City Project, a partnership between local writer and actor Colney Smith and Orange County Arts and Cultural Affairs Terry Olson, who's here. Terry, where are you? Can you just wave? He was here. He had to leave because he's doing an arts presentation somewhere else. The Creative City Project will offer free arts and cultural events every day during the month of October in celebration of Arts and Humanities Month. And you can find out what's going on through the Red Chair Project, which is our events website that's produced by the Alliance. Again, thank you so much for your support of art and culture, and I look forward to visiting with each and every one of you. Good afternoon.
We want to welcome Flora Marie to our community, and I have a proclamation from the City of Orlando. Whereas the month of Orlando has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than 2 decades. And whereas the arts and humanities embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, and whereas the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of every American and play a unique role in the lives of our families, our communities, and our country, and whereas the not-for-profit arts industry also strengthens our economy by generating $135 billion in, I was going to say that's got to be nationally, not locally, in total economic activity annually, and by supporting the full-time equivalent of 4.13 million jobs nationally, including 94 million and 3,487 jobs within the City of Orlando. Okay, that number sounded more right. And whereas the Creative City Project will highlight one free arts performance or event in a public space in the heart of Orlando or Orange County every day during the month of October. Now, therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim the month of October 2012 as National Arts and Humanity Month in the City of Orlando and call upon all citizens to celebrate, support, and promote the arts and humanities in our city.
We'd like to invite all of the arts leadership to come and please take a picture with Mayor Dyer and Flora Maria and our City Commission. Yes, come on. Don't be shy.
So that brings us to the mayor's update. I want to remind everybody that in addition to recognizing the arts this month, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and as a mayor, husband, son, and father, I want to urge all Central Floridians and their friends and loved ones about the importance of breast cancer screening, early detection, diagnosis, and treatment. I want to thank and recognize all of the team members and staff that are participating in breast cancer awareness events this month. Thank you for your support. Wednesday morning, October 3rd, 2 days from now, I will deliver the annual State of the Downtown Address at the Amway Center. The focus will be on how Orlando is working towards becoming one of the greenest cities in America. Along with my short address, we are honored to have Nancy Sutley, who is the chair of the White House Council on Environmental Quality. She'll be delivering remarks, and I hope you all can attend. Commissioners, I am very happy today to announce that Assistant Chief Roderick Rod Williams of the Fire Department has been promoted to the position of Deputy Chief. Later this month, after 23 and a half years of service to the citizens of Orlando, Deputy Chief Greg Hoggett will retire from the Orlando Fire Department, and I'm sad to see Chief Hoggett go, but we wish him the best in retirement, although I understand he's retiring from our city and going to join another department, and we wish him well. The new Deputy Chief is a 17-year veteran of OFD and an Orlando native. He grew up in Richmond Heights and is a Jones High School graduate. He will be responsible for Fire Services Bureau, which includes EMS, Emergency Management, Fire Safety Management, Technology Management, and Communications. And I know all of you know Rod, and he's going to do a great job as he's elevated in position. The OPD recently concluded the 2012 Summer Crime Initiative. It was the third year that OPD utilized the all-hands-on-deck approach to boost police presence in all segments of our city neighborhoods. During this year's initiative, Orlando officers made 56 felony arrests, 58 misdemeanor arrests, contacted 510 suspicious individuals, recovered 11 firearms, and seized more than 321 grams of cannabis and 21 grams of cocaine. Thank you to all the citizens that helped participate. There are a number of community engagement events this past weekend. It Takes Courage was out again in force on Saturday. 353 volunteers participated in the largest domestic violence prevention event in the history of the city of Orlando. Launching out of the Orlando Fashion Square Mall, 29 teams fanned out across the city, visiting apartment complexes and subdivisions, and in 3 hours dropped off 13,558 door hangers, giving the message it takes courage to stop abuse. Also, this past Saturday, OPD participated in the National Prescription Take-Back Day, a one-day collaboration between state, local, and federal law enforcement agencies to remove potentially dangerous prescription drugs from homes. In that event, the chief told me that we collected over 166 pounds of prescription drugs. Let's see. I had quick items of note on the agenda today. EDV 9, a resolution supporting quiet zones throughout the Sunrail corridor. We're working in conjunction with our other partners, both private and public, to establish that. Best Foot Forward. As you know, we launched Best Foot Forward a couple of months ago to cut down on pedestrian deaths and injuries, and as a result, we have had a slowdown in those types of occurrences, and today there is a grant related to the Florida Bicycle Association for $100,000 towards that initiative. And we will be renewing our Main Street agreements today, and I think I'll let I'll recognize Commissioner Ortiz for leading out on the effort to rename the western portion of Andes Avenue in front of the Police Training Center leading to the Emergency Operations Center as George DeSalvia Way in honor of OPD officer George DeSalvia, who was killed in the line of duty in 2000. Commissioner, do you have further comments on that?
I'm going to wait until my turn. Yes, sir, but thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Okay. With that, I want to move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a number of items that are. Oh, I actually, at this point, want to recognize Commissioner Ortiz for an introduction.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it gives me great pleasure, and it's an honor for me to introduce somebody who is a very prominent senator in Puerto Rico, and we have him as a guest today, and his name is Senator Juan Hernandez Mayoral. If you could please stand up to be recognized. He also happened to be the son of a very prominent governor, which is Rafael Hernandez Colon in Puerto Rico. So thank you for coming and visiting with us. We saw him at a Premio El Hosco on Saturday night, and he'll be with us until tomorrow. So thank you for coming over and visiting with us, and I hope that we get to see you more often. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Now I'll move on to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is a number of items that are acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of the members of the council an opportunity to comment on items on the consent agenda as well as update you on items of importance from their district. We rotate the order that is done, and today we begin with District 6. Commissioner Ings.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll just start right into community events. The Sudden Cardiac Arrest Association held its 2012 Survivors, Heroes, and Advocate Awards dinner at Rosen Shingle Creek, and this was in September 14th. And what's really significant about this event is the Gary Sain Memorial Award. His wife, Pamela Sain, was there on hand to present that, as well as the Survivor and Hero recognition given by Rick and Jennifer Chapp, who also presented here at the City Council, and they presented the awards to the members of the Orlando Fire Department, and also Chief John Miller and his wife was there on hand. Chief, you want to tell about the award that you won? No? You want me to? Okay, I won't tell then. And our fire chaplain, Reagan Vandergrift, was on hand to give invocation and be a part of that ceremony. And then I joined Commissioner Patty Sheehan with the MD Anderson Cancer Center as they were making history on the Proton Therapy Center groundbreaking event on Thursday, September 27th. And then also on Thursday, September 27th, I was out at the Grand Cypress Golf Club with the National Basketball Retired Players Association. They were hosting their benefit for Basketball for Life in conjunction with the Mercedes-Benz of Orlando, Bob Berryhill, owner, and they're located there in Maitland, and this was a great event. Nick Anderson, Bo Outlaw, Greg Kite, and Sam Vincent, and Tree Rollins, they were all on hand for this particular event. And then Thursday, also, iDignity held its Super Duper Dinner and Super Soup-Off Awards, and that was in Altamont Springs. Chief Paul Rooney was there on hand as a and some other members of the Orlando Police Department as a soup-off contestant. And Mayor Teresa Jacobs was there, Assistant Chief Roderick Williams, who just got promoted to Deputy Chief. Fire Department was on hand too. And AJ and Ashley June was there to help them doing their serving. They were with K92 FM Morning Show. Buckhead Real Radio 104 was there with his soup, Darrell Owens with his soup, and Scott Maxwell, the Orlando Sentinel columnist. Darrell Owens is also a Sentinel columnist as well, but Scott Maxwell won the award as the best soup for that particular event. So Michael Dippy, the executive director, gave a fantastic speech, and thank you, Elena Brenner, for your involvement with that as well. And Mayor, I know you're also involved too. And then Saturday, National Public Lands Day was held out at Bill Frederick Park at Turkey Lake. Thanks to Jan Rayhill and Jody Bias. I think they had over 400 volunteers out there, and they were planting trees, pulling weeds, and doing all kinds of things to make the park more beautiful. And then also Saturday, the owners, Mayor, you and your wife came by. Lou and Bill Kennedy celebrated their 10 years of marriage together at their residence there in College Park. Great event. They had the Commodore singing for them, as well as Isaac Hayes' daughter, Heather Hayes, and the Isaac Hayes Experience. So that was a great event. And then Sunday night at Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church, the Negro Spiritual Scholarship Foundation had their concert. And myself and my wife, June Marie Ings, we were honored by the event. Reverend Father Rudy Clare and the Board of Directors for the Negro Spirituals Scholarship Foundation honored June and I as friends who serve and support their organization, and many times in such a quiet way. Pastor Willis C. Barnes is the pastor of Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church. And thank you, Mayor Dyer, also for your support for the Negro Spiritual Scholarship Foundation. The last thing I have is that on October the 26th from 10 to 2 at the Dr. James R. Smith Center, we're going to have a job fair, and this is going to be an employment job fair, making a difference through job placement. We're looking to have several different employers to come in, and if there are any employers that want to join in, you can certainly join in by contacting my office. We're looking to address some of the high unemployment rate that's within the district and also the community, and come out and really help us make a difference so that people that don't have jobs can certainly get jobs. Thank you very much, Mayor, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 1. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. A lot going on in the southeast part of the city. I try to put most of that on our website, so I'll keep my comments brief. But I do want to make special mention on Saturday, September 15th, we had the Florida Coastal Cleanup, Lake Rabama. Commissioner Ortiz was with me, but I want to thank the folks at Maikai Condos and Dover Estates for their contributions. We had probably 25 to 30 residents that were out planting trees and picking up trash. So it's a great event and a good opportunity to partner with neighbors. Also on Thursday, September 20th, attended the Valencia College dedication out at Lake Nona. Beautiful new building, one of 4 to come. Ribbon cutting. Mayor Dyer was with me. Somebody at the other end accidentally cut the ribbon too early. Won't mention any names, but somebody hit the ribbon too quick. But we got through it. But it's an impressive facility. 1,500 kids already signed up at Valencia, and they've been open less than a month. On the 25th, Tuesday the 25th, did a joint meeting with the folks at Orange County Town Hall for our neighbors. And I want to thank our folks from staff who came out late, stayed out till 8 or 8:30 to meet with residents and share what's going on in our planning, our transportation, neighborhood services, OPD, and OFD. So thank you, staff, for taking the time to come out and help educate our neighbors about all the activities in Lake Nona. Finally, I met with Bob Brown and the folks from United Way, got a tour of their facility. They are starting their fall campaign, as you probably know. Just want to encourage everybody. I've been there firsthand to see the facility. I know they'd love to show it to you. But I can assure you your dollars, your contributions are being put to good use. Finally, this Thursday, October 4th, Nemours has their grand opening for the Nemours Children's Hospital. It's open to the public. They will give tours. If you have not had the chance, skip out of work and go out there and see that on Thursday, because it's a very impressive facility. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 2. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. No direct accusations, huh? I'd like to take this opportunity to give thanks and congratulate the staff involved with the planning of this year's Hispanic Kickoff event that we had here at City Hall on September 13. Hats off to Mrs. Alicia Ramirez, Mr. Michael Lawrence, Mr. Luis Martinez, and Ms. Diana Morales for organizing a great event. As always, you guys shine, so thank you so much. On Saturday, September 15, I was part of the Florida Coastal Cleanup event, also with Commissioner Gray. We stopped by 3 of District 2 lakes and participated during the cleanup event, thanks to Mrs. Jody Boyas and Ms. Melanie Alves from Keep Orlando Beautiful for heading this project. I'd like to congratulate Ms. Blanquita Treble from Casa de Mexico for her annual event at the Bob Cart Center. It was, as always, a great event. This year was on September 15, and it was, as I said, a great event. On September 19th, I attended Sheriff Deming's 4th Annual Community Crime Summit. Very, very informative. For those of you that have not been to one of this summit, I would really ask you to attend to the summits. They're very informative. We have people from all over the region coming over and informing us of what's going on in terms of crime, which, of course, we are always attending to, making sure that we have the lowest stats in the region. I want to give thanks to all the Neighborhood Leaders Council members who attended our meeting on September 20th, and thank you, Mr. Andrew Call, for your presentation. You did a great job introducing them to the Cimarron Business Partnership and for them to be part of it as well. On Saturday, my aide Anna Cruz and my liaison officer Eddie Rosado joined the Orlando Police Department and Harbor House of Central Florida for the 3rd It Takes Courage door hanging event to help raise awareness of the warning signs of domestic abuse in our community, as the mayor was talking about. It is my understanding that their team hanged close to 600 door hangers at 3 District 2 apartment complex. So great job, guys. We need to keep it up. I'd like to take this opportunity to remind all the business owners located between Pershing Avenue and the Orlando International Airport to attend our meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, October 9th, 2012. The mayor is going to be there at 9 a.m. at the Orlando Airport Marriott Hotel, and Commissioner Gray also, so let me not leave him out. The meeting is to inform the business owners of the Cimarron Vision Plan and to introduce them to the Cimarron Business Partnership. It's going to be a great event, a great opportunity to commingle since we are revitalizing the Cimarron Corridor, taking it to a new height. And first, but not last, ordinance first read about George Chisalvia Way is great pride to us to name this particular drive, I believe is going to be, after a man that sacrificed his life to serve or to enforce the law in the city of Orlando. He died a tragic death at the hands of a, lack of better words, a criminal. And it's sad we have to experience something like that, but we remember him as a hero in our community, and we're going to commemorate his life with this great naming the street after his name. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 3. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got just a couple of things I'd like to share. Congratulations to Frank Cook and Tony Escalera for their 25 years of service to our community and to our great city, and also to new Deputy Chief Rod Williams. Congratulations, Chief Miller. A good choice. He's going to do a great job and do great things for our city. A couple of quick things that happened over the weekend. I was on Zombie-toberfest was kickoff, and I'm looking for Jennifer Marble. Jennifer, wave. We had more than 4,000 people over in the Audubon Park Garden District for some fun and some fundraising for the Audubon Park Garden District. So thank you very much, Jennifer, for your leadership and for your new leadership, I should say, and for your continued leadership with the Audubon Park Garden District. I did get the opportunity to represent the mayor and the council over at the It Takes Courage event and had a chance to spend some time with almost 400 volunteers that were there. It's what a thrill to see those step out and serve our community this way, and I was honored to be there to represent the city. On last Saturday, I had a chance to go to the National Public Lands Day over at Frederick Park at Turkey Lake. And I want to say special thanks to Jan Rahill and Jody Bias. I appreciate what they have done to change that event a little bit, but more importantly, they brought in over 200 volunteers and planted hundreds of trees and gave away some other seedlings to those to take home with us. What a great way to serve our community. This Wednesday, if you can't make it over to the mayor's estate of downtown, it is also National Walk to School Day. So you can go there and then come downtown if you'd like. It's a chance for us to really promote our pedestrian traffic in downtown Orlando and get a chance to see a lot of the new stuff that we've done with Orlando Walks. In the next coming weeks, there's a lot of golf coming up and some fundraisers. This Friday, the After School All-Stars Kids Classic will be over at Grand Cypress Golf Resort at 11:30. Please plan and come if you can. It raises money for this great program, and it serves our middle school students in 6 city middle schools. And also on October 13, I'm honored to host Where the Fun Starts golf tournament for the city's recreation division. We have tournament sponsors there of BB&T Bank, Jewett Orthopedic, Mears Transportation, the Tap Room, and the Dove's Tread Golf Course. So I appreciate the work that our city recreation department has done. We're going to have a great time on Saturday morning, October 13th. Lou Gardens has got some great stuff coming up. Friday date night is the movie The Vow, and then October 13th, the Jazz and Blues Stroll over at Lou Gardens. Always a great event. And then October 20th, there'll be 2 great events in our community. The College Park Partnership will be hosting their College Park Jazz Fest that evening. It starts at 6 and goes till about 11 o'clock. It's going to be a great event. I think the cost is $5 a piece to come in, and $2 for every ticket that comes in, every pass you buy goes back to the community in the College Park area. And also that same evening, the Orlando Philharmonic and the Orlando Rep will be celebrating a joint anniversary, their 20th birthday for Orlando Philharmonic and the 10th birthday for the Repertory Theater, and going to be in Lock Haven Park, called a Star-Spangled Birthday Concert, honoring the legacy of Della Phillips. Starts at 7, it's open to the public. Please come on down. You'll get a chance to just celebrate our great nation, and a good time for us to do that prior to the election. 2 things on the agenda I want to mention. C27 is a facade grant for 2626 Edgewater Drive. Thank you. Congratulations. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a great addition to Edgewater Drive. And then, of course, we are approving the Main Street agreements today, C31. And so thank you to those in my district, Audubon Park Garden District, and Ivanhoe District. Ivanhoe Garden? Ivanhoe Village District. I always get them mixed up, don't I, Pauline? And College Park Partnership, and I get a claim every now and then, Mills 50. So I'm thrilled about continuing to fund that and seeing the great work that's being done in both community building and helping out our small businesses, Mayor. So thank you for continuing that with us. That's all that I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to District 4. Commissioner Sheehan.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so every ladies, get your girls checked. It's very important to do that. So, I've gotten mine checked. It's all good. So, lead by example. It's very, very important because I know that several of us on the dais have either been affected or have family members affected, and it's very, very important to make sure we do that to take care of our health. And I will be dragon boating this year for the first time. So, Mayor, our team isn't pretty, but we're effective. We can row. We haven't tipped the boat and dumped it over yet, but we hope to take back the prize again. So we will be doing that later on this month. On the agenda today, on B7, we are getting our holiday decorations back, which I'm delighted to see. And I think that's great to get us in the holiday spirit. On item C7, glad to see a settlement agreement for Mills Park. Yes, it is moving forward. Yes, they are moving dirt, and even though it's in Commissioner Stewart's district, it's right across the street from my house. So I'm delighted to see that happening. And we are going to be getting a fresh market, so it's all good, and things are happening in Mills 50. On item C28, Get Active Orlando, it's really interesting that in these minutes they point out that the community gardening is the most effective, had the most significant findings for improved health. I'm glad to say that District 4 has 3 community gardens, with 2 in the works, Reeves, Colonial Town Festival Park, and working on Greenwood and Lake Druid. So we're really glad to see the effects that community garden has had on making people healthier. On item C29, on Best Foot Forward, Mike Wilson was actually at the Lake Davis neighborhood meeting the other night, and said since they started this Best Foot Forward program, there was only 8% compliance with people in crosswalks. They were actually like running people over and things like that. And just in the very short time they've been implementing the program, they've had up to 38% compliance at intersections. So I think that's just great, and that's after just a very short time of implementing this program. So I think it's wonderful to see that. And item D3, Upstander Day at Lake Eola Park. That's Sunday, October 14th, from 11:30 to 3 p.m. That's standing up against bullying in our schools. And I was actually doing a program last week, and Big Baby Davis was on the program, and he was talking about having been bullied. And I'm like, how do you bully Glenn Davis? He's huge. Well, when he was a little kid, he had to be put on sports teams because he was so big. They put him on the bigger kids' sports teams, and so he would always cry because he was not as older as the bigger kids, and they kind of picked on him. So that's how he got the name Big Baby. And he actually is very much against bullying because he had it happen to him when he was a little guy, even though he's a big little guy. So anyway, we really want to stand out against bullying. Please join us on Upstander Day on October 14th. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we'll move to District 5. Commissioner Lynham.
Thank you. Just a few announcements, and like Commissioner Gray, some of the things on my website you can check out. But I do want to congratulate Jones High School homecoming. They won. At least they won by the time I left at halftime, and playing in their own stadium for the first time in, I guess, 30 years. So I want to congratulate them. It was a great night there to celebrate. And also on last night with a lot of OPD and Recreation Department, Family Recs from Orlando, there was the Arthur Jackson Midnight Basketball through the Center for Drug-Free Living. Arthur Jackson was a great servant in Orlando who died a few years ago, and the legacy he left was Midnight Basketball. And he keeps a lot of youngsters off the streets on the weekends, late at night. Imagine playing basketball 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. But it's a great way to keep your kids safe and off the streets, so I congratulate them. I also want to congratulate Roderick Williams, and Chief, thank you. I know I love the things that we're trying to do, trying to make it right in these departments. And that was a great promotion. Thank you very much. Also, I had a great opportunity. Everyone knows the best way to my heart is absolutely through my stomach. And Mayor Dyer and I had a chance to go to, so far, the best barbecue place I've ever been to. Red Ranch Barbecue on Kirkman Road. They have not only pulled pork, I think they had pulled chicken, but it was good, whatever it was. But there was a real pig. I mean, it was dead, but it was, we ate out of it. You just go to the big pig, a hog or whatever it was, and they cut you pieces of meat. It was the greatest barbecue out there. I really appreciate that barbecue place opening up. I know my high blood pressure is going to go sky high, but I will take all my meds and then go out and then take some more meds. So anyway, I had a great time. And please go and let's patronize our businesses. The other, just a few items on the agenda, was the quiet zones. We've been talking about that for months and months and months. Everybody knew this would come to council sooner or later, and we're voting on that today. And all these municipalities will have the quiet zones. Also on F1, agenda item F1, the Timber Sound rehab, $500,000, $500,000, almost $501,000 in a deferred loan through a home. I just want to congratulate our housing department for working with them. It is one of those projects that I don't think, I was on the council, but it was District 6, I think, at the time. But it really needs work, and this is a great project. So I think that is about it. I do want to give the location for that Red Ranch barbecue. It's on Kirkman Road, just before you get to turn off for Eagle's Nest. You can't miss it.
Metro West Boulevard.
Eagle's Nest. I mean, it's
right, Metro West Boulevard.
Yeah, well, people know at least Eagle's Nest sign there, whether that's a street or not. It's at Hess.
Just trying to help you.
Yeah, well, no, that's the way I get to it. I know the street across the street was Metro West. I just wanted to say, when you see Hess and Eagle's Nest, make a turn in there, and let me tell you, Red Ranch Barbecue is right on the spot. Thank you very much.
I agree. It was very, very good.
Wasn't it you?
Yeah. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent?
Move approval.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Lineham, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so the motion carries. There were a number of funding agreements between our good community partners, and I see a bunch of them in the audience. Would everybody that's either a Main Street or one of our funding partners that does good work for us in our community please stand and be recognized? And that makes it easy for you guys to go ahead and make your way out if you would like to do that. Without objection, I'm going to recess the City Council meeting, convene the CRA meeting for several items. Thomas.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Just two brief items under new business for the CRA today. Both are companions to consent items. The first is Amendment Number 5 to the Orlando Performing Arts Center. Again, it's companion to item B1 on consent. No fiscal impact on the CRA.
All right. Is there a motion to approve Amendment Number 5? Motion by Commissioner Lineham, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2, Thomas.
Likewise, item number 2 is a companion to C25, First Amendment to the amended and restated interlocal agreement between the city and Lynx. No change in the fiscal impact to the CRA.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Approval. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Lineham. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Further business come before the CRA, Thomas?
There is none, sir.
Then we'll be adjourned.
Thank you.
And we will reconvene the City Council meeting. All right. We are on hearings, ordinances, second reading. Madam Clerk, number 1.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida relating to vehicle towing and immobilization regulation, making findings of fact, expressing legislative intent, establishing towing enforcement administrator authority, renumbering, reorganizing, and amending definitions, declaring civil and criminal penalties, classifying civil penalties, amending conditions preceding to the trespass, tow, or immobilization, establishing administrative fees and responsibilities, amending regulations, administrative process, investigative and enforcement duties, amending signage and notice requirements, modifying rate schedule, delegating appeal authority to vehicle for hire appeal board, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ings, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All right. We had quite a bit of discussion on this topic the last time around, and I do have a number of appearance requests, so why don't we have Chief Pigman update us on where we are, whether there are any modifications to what was brought before us 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever the last meeting was, and then I know you've had some industry meetings in between as well.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer, City Commissioners. I'll proceed. We did meet with the industry per your request, Mayor Dyer, and I'll get to that in the slide, but I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed as far as what we're proposing. And first of all is a teletype fee of $10, which offsets the manual entry and tracking of towed vehicles. It also enables staff to direct inquiring citizens to the tow truck company that actually towed their vehicle. It eliminates confusion between staff and citizens regarding whether a vehicle was stolen or actually trespass towed. And as written, this fee can be assessed to the vehicle owner. In addition, we're proposing a administrative filing fee for trespass towing contracts of $100 per fee or per contract or per address, and this will creates a formal record authorizing the trespass towing company by the property owner. It allows staff to maintain accurate and current records regarding the regulatory compliance of trespass tow truck companies, allows staff to accurately address and investigate citizens' concerns and complaints about violations of trespass towing regulations. It provides for periodic inspection of tow-away zones by trained community service officers to ensure that signage is properly posted, legible, and unobstructed. It also provides for and grants authority to the position of towing enforcement administrator to conduct civil hearings related to violations of Chapter 39. Finally, a fee for untimely, improper, or incomplete contract renewals. Essentially, it's a late fee. This fee ensures current contract is on file with the department It assists in identifying expired contracts and ensures the compliance with the ordinance regulations. It acts as an incentive for trespass towing service companies to keep current and accurate records, and helps staff to accurately answer citizen complaints as to which authorized tow company actually towed their vehicle. And what we've seen is examples of poor signage. Those lead to, of course, complaints that we investigate. We've seen sign violations where this one you could probably barely see it. It's a sign nailed to a tree a good distance away from where the actual turn-in for the parking lot is. Obstruction of bushes and tree limbs and so forth. And then, of course, signs that are just, due to the wear of the sun and weather, just unreadable. And it's not all, it's for the protection of the consumers, but we also advocate for the industry when they do post the signage properly and we receive a complaint. This is an example here where we did receive a complaint by a citizen who said there were no signs posted. Clearly you can see the signs are duly posted at this location, and in this instance we of course called the complainant back, told them they don't have a complaint, that the tow truck company did everything right. And we have had 2 meetings with the towing industry. The first was on August 29th prior to the first reading. The second was on Tuesday, September 18th, after the first reading and before today, the second reading. We did talk about some towing industry recommendations, which included the industry proposes a rate increase for Class A tows to $140 rather than what our proposal is of $125. And additionally, most of the industry endorsed a $10 tell-type fee that can be passed on to the vehicle owner. The industry also wanted stricter language regarding the definition of agent and burden of proof as it relates to releasing a vehicle to someone who is not listed as a registered owner. In addition, the industry advocates grandfathering of existing contracts that are within 2-year window, and only new contracts would be subject to the proposed administrative fee. And what I learned from the industry is that they may have upwards of 200 contracts. Only a portion of those might really be making any money at all. And so this is the proposal that they have to mitigate some of the money that will have to be spent for these existing contracts. The industry also recommends making an effective date of the rate of increase immediately following the second read, with the stipulation that the signage will be corrected within 90 days. And the industry asked that we consider towing software vendors to help reduce costs. And on Wednesday of last week, September 26th, we did meet with one company, DTS Tow Management Software Company, and found no cost savings at that time. In fact, the rate would actually increase for that tell-type fee using this software. But we will continue to explore avenues of reducing costs. And the major sticking point that we have with the industry relates to Florida Statute 71507, which makes it a crime to pay or accept anything of value as payment for the award of a trespass towing contract. The City of Orlando is not a party to, cannot influence the award of, and cannot pay or receive anything of value in exchange for the award of a trespass towing contract between a private property owner and a towing service. In addition, the statute outlaws bribery as a means of securing trespass towing contracts. Further, the proposed administrative filing fee is intended to offset costs incurred by the city pursuant to regulation and enforcement responsibilities unique to the towing industry. The proposed user fee permits trespass towing services to conduct business in Orlando and meet general and local law regulations. And the proposed filing fee is not the type of payment prohibited by Florida Statute 71507. Finally, we are proposing a rate increase for the towing industry. Our proposal for Class A tows is from $100 to $125. For Class B tows, from $200 to $250. Class C tows from $300 to $375, and down on the bottom, Class D tows, the proposed increase from $400 to $500 per tow. In summary, the proposed towing ordinance amendments help to offset administrative costs, which will provide better accountability for our citizens, for the towing industry, and for the Orlando Police Department. It provides better service and consumer protection for our citizens. Any questions at all?
Questions? I have a question. Of the items that you listed that came up during the meeting with the industry, did you have an opinion on any of those, on whether we ought to incorporate any?
We did look at each and every suggestion, recommendation made by the towing industry, and really we didn't come off of what we have already. In other words, we're at a stalemate. And there's good reasons for many of the decisions that we have. One of the suggestions that was given by the industry was to allow, or to, let me find it here, to tighten up the language as it concerns releasing a vehicle. The language as is written is so that if you can put A, B, and C pieces of the puzzle together and determine that the vehicle is in the rightful hands, you can go ahead and release that vehicle, rather than stringent language that can eliminate people who really should be allowed to take that vehicle with them, pay for that vehicle and take it. So that's the way the language is written specifically.
Okay. Anybody else question? Then we have several appearance requests. Let's go through those.
Excuse me, Mayor, while you're coming, are we going to keep the stricter language, no, keep our language as opposed to the more strict that they wanted, right?
I propose we keep our language.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay. Paul Grin. You'll have 5 minutes, and if you'd state your name and address.
Yes, sir. Paul Gren, I own the tow truck company of Orlando, 1315 29th Street, Orlando, Florida. Thank you for my opportunity to speak today, and good morning, afternoon to you all. I'm going to read from what I've written so I can
And Paul, maybe pull that mic. It'll move so you can pull it over there.
I'm going to read from what I've written so I can stay somewhat concise and not exceed my 5 minutes. You can say what you will about the updated ordinance. Logistically, both towing and the city face monumental challenges in bringing about the compliance issues that we have at hand. The two areas of concern I want to draw attention to are the reinstallation of the signs and their inspection by the city, and the filing of the contracts of the properties we currently service. Both are labor and time intensive, as you'll see. Give or take a few property contracts, presently there are 4,250 of them on file with OPD. If each of these properties requires no more than 2 signs on site, there's going to be a need for the inspection and the approval of more than 8,000 signs by city staffers under the new ordinance. In the interest of time management alone, I would suggest the existing contracts would be grandfathered in. The new contracts and renewing of existing contracts would need to meet the updated criteria. Setting the effective date following this second reading with a permissible 90-day phase-in will provide towing and the city with a smooth transition to compliance without subjecting the property owners that are in need of our service to any added or additional inconvenience. And that's it. Any questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Cronin.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Cronin, 813 Wingo Street. I'm in opposition of quite a few different things here, and one of the things that I don't like about the new ordinance, the way it's written, is it's so cloudy and it's so muddy, and I really, really, truly wish that we could just erase all of 39 and start fresh and lead a new example as a city that really cares about itself and really wants to do the best interest in everyone's interest, whether it's economically feasible for a company or whether it's the Commonwealth that we're protecting. That's truly what I would love to see happen. There's so many gray areas in this ordinances and so many ways for people to skip and hem-haw around. Well, it's not written this way, so maybe we can do it that way. Different takes on everything, and it's sad. One of the things that upsets me is it's just too cloudy, and it goes on and on and on forever, like I can here today. Secondly, I hear about how much we figured out that we can charge for different things. We've done all these cost analysis of how much we should charge the towing companies, how much they should charge for the contracts and whatnot. But what I haven't heard is how anyone's done any kind of cost analysis. No one's actually found out how many complaints we're dealing with and why we need all these changes. No one's come up and said, last year we had 43 complaints. Out of those complaints, so many resulted in a civil infraction. We haven't heard any of that. All we've heard is, we get complaints all the time, but nobody's ever came with a definitive number to say, we've had 13 complaints, and so many arrests or so many civil infractions or so many people. One of the things that a lot of people's not instructed to is, if your car is towed, you have the legal right to go down to the Orange County Clerk's office and post a bond for your car. The bond will be in the amount for what the towing company is asking for. Once you go down and you post the bond, you go with the sheriff to the tow company and you pick up your vehicle without paying anything because you bonded your vehicle out. After that happens, you get a court date in front of a judge. You get to see a judge, and then you present yourself in front of a judge saying, my car was improperly towed. One of two things are going to happen. You're going to lose the bond and you're going to owe the towing company attorney's fees, or you can prevail. And the towing company is going to pay your attorney's fees and they lose. But no one has brought that to your attention, that that's a viable thing for the public to do. And I just really wish that these ordinances would be written correctly. We take an example so that other communities may look at us on how to conduct ourselves for the towing companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Warrington.
Hello, my name's Angela Warrington. I'm the owner of Zips Towing and Recovery, 514 West Columbia Street. I would like to start out today. At the last meeting, I was kind of shocked listening to Commissioner Stewart talk to Deputy Chief Pigman, how you guys were talking about administration fees, and neither one of you guys were talking about the same thing. And everybody in the towing industry sitting back there knew that you guys weren't. And so to me, that says that you haven't reviewed the towing ordinance, and Mr. Deputy Pigman doesn't understand the ordinance either, because we were all sitting back there, and everybody in the towing industry, we live by this ordinance. This is something that we have to go by. And so I just ask you to take time and actually review the ordinance before you vote on it. And then in the current ordinance right now, in section 39.86, number 6, it says the property owner shall keep signs clean of mildew and vegetation and in good repair. That's the property owner. That's not the towing company. In the current ordinance, and we're getting the blame for what the property owner is not doing. I know in our contract that we have, we make them sign that they will do this. In every contract that we have, that is on file with the Orlando Police Department. That's in our contract, and we're being blamed for that, and now you guys are wanting us to pay $100 per contract so you can go out there and review something that the property owner is supposed to be doing. Another thing, I think that you guys really forget who we tow for. We tow because there is a parking problem in the city of Orlando, and I don't see anybody discussing how we can stop the parking problem. I see them going after the towing companies. It is the property owners that contact us. It's the property owners that have liability because people are parking on their property. They contact us. We can't just go to their property and tow a car. That's illegal. And I think that we get the blame for that. In the last meeting, Mr. Mayor, you asked me if I was happy with the $25 fee. I ask you, do you know when the $100 went into effect? It went into effect April 14th of 1998 is when the $100 went into effect. That's 14 and a half years ago that we've been at that same price. You guys have had 2 raises. The City Council has had 2 raises in that time. We haven't. We've been at the same. Gas prices have tripled in that time. And we've been at the same price. So, no, I think that after a decade and a half that we're kind of due a raise. I think that I know that the $100, most towing companies can't afford that because we have been we've been at this standard for a decade and a half. We've been at the same price. You guys can do the research. I don't know of any other industry that is kept at the same price for 14 and a half years. That's a long time, especially when gas prices have doubled and tripled. And you guys all know that. Gas prices in 98 were $1.42. Can you imagine? $1.42. But that's all coming out of our pocket. So now you're going to give us a little raise only to take a huge amount right back out. It's very unfair. And all of the derogatory comments made towards the towing company, which has happened quite frequently, I think is unfair. We are the same people that you call when your car breaks down. We are the same people when you get into an accident that we go. We are hardworking people, and we're working for the property owners, the people that own property in the city of Orlando. That is who hires us. They hire us because they are held liable for people parking on their property. And I don't see anybody trying to fix that problem. I don't see anybody coming up with a way, how can we get people to stop illegally parking on people's property? And I would really like that I would like to see somebody come up with a way to find out how to stop that problem, because it's the property owners that have the problem. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Michael Cadena.
Michael Cadena, Constellation Towing and Recovery, Winter Park, Florida. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. First question is to you as regard to a previous request actually supported by Mayor Dyer. How do you justify the requirement of paying a fee to the city when it is in direct contradiction of Florida Statute 71507? This statute clearly states a person may not pay or accept money or other valuable consideration of the privilege of towing or removing vehicles or vessels from a particular location. Now, I just see an example from Mr. Pigman here on the screen about they came up with this thing saying that it's legal and they can do all this. When Mr. Dyer, you actually asked in the first reading, you asked your city attorney to check into this with the state attorney. I actually emailed Pam Bondi and got a response, and they said that they have no record whatsoever that you guys even checked into to see if this was legal or not. Okay, so I find that hard to believe that, you know, all of a sudden it's oh well, we checked all our got our ducks in a row and everything, and you actually didn't do the job. The second thing, I'd like to say, is the towing business is already regulated to the max. We're required to provide a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week provider service 24/7 for a regulated fee. We carry millions of dollars of insurance as required by law. Our signage and our processes are regulated by federal and state statutes. Yet, when you are finally ready to increase our tow fee, you think you will link it with a chargeback that more than offsets any increase that you're willing to give us. We've been asking for a cost analysis ever since we started this. I actually seen one 45 minutes before today's meeting of what Mr. Pigman, I'm assuming it was him, got this so-called cost analysis, which is still, the numbers don't jive for me. Third thing, towing companies provide a great service to the city, yet you want to penalize us for us. We tow cars that are parked in handicap areas and fire lanes in violation of law. These laws are to save time and money to the police department, who might ordinarily be called on for these violations. We keep junk cars off the streets and out of parking lots. We tow cars at licensing violations and getting those tags renewed. We don't get the tags renewed. We actually ask them to get that done. The city is making money, as well as the county, on each individual tow. The towing business also recovers stolen cars that might not ever be recovered. All these saves time and money to the city and in turn to the police. Yet you want to charge us for handling our phone calls to you to report these violations. We, in essence, are doing your job with no additional compensation and an added fee. Perhaps you don't know what it takes to run a towing business. Average insurance just to run a tow company is about $24,000 a year. Fuel. Ms. Warrington said, fuel, it's about $40,000 a year for fuel expenses just to run a tow company, just to keep my trucks running, or any trucks. This isn't generally me, but it's $65,000 for a tow truck. It's just a few items that take up the $100 tow fee. In addition, every time we enter our trucks, our lives are in danger. Angry people pull guns, threaten our lives, threaten our office people, and damage our trucks. We currently do this for, again, $100. We were asked by Mr. Pigman at the last meeting that I guess we need to start carrying hedge clippers in our tow truck, which I kind of found that pretty funny, because they want us to maintain our signs and keep them visible to the public. Yet in City Code 39, again, Ms. Warrington brought up that it says in there that the property owners are responsible for those signs, not us. We're not a lawn care business. We're a towing company. I think the proposal you're making will cost the industry in time and money. Some companies might not be able to survive. The small businessman is struggling, and yet we are the backbone of the local economy. Don't tax us any further, for the burden to us will be greater than the profit you will make from our labor. If you drive companies out of business, the city will lose revenue in licensing fees and fuel tax. In the end, the city will bear the brunt of removing these illegal vehicles. The very least you can do if you move forward this travesty is to grandfather in all our current contracts. It would show us a good faith consideration on your part, and it will show us that you understand the burden that you are placing on our industry. Since this is for your proposed budget for 2013, it is hardly proper to collect money for contracts that existed before you created a budget for them. If not grandfathered in, we make our tow increase retroactive as well. That's all I have for you. You guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Mayan, you want to address the legal issue? I read the statute as a prohibition of a tow company giving a kickback to a property owner.
That's exactly right, and that's been true since 1979. What you did direct us to do was look into the matter and satisfy ourselves that we had a clear understanding of the history of the statute and the proper construction of the statute, and failing that, if there were ambiguity or we were unable to render an opinion to council and to you, then we would seek an Attorney General's opinion. We didn't seek an Attorney General's opinion because once our staff, police legal advisor, specifically Lee Freeman, and I looked at this, it's very clear that the intent of the statute and plain interpretation of the wording of the statute is that it is illegal to transfer money or anything other valuable consideration as payment for the award of a towing contract. In other words, you can't have a bribery or a kickback for a company or individual to get the award of a contract. That is not the same as an administrative fee, and it's not the same as paying for the service. That's clear when you look at the history of the legislation, and we have a very detailed memo that sets forth both that history, and I believe Ms. Brooks was kind enough to give a hand-delivered copy to every commissioner. So we're very satisfied and comfortable, Mayor, that our ordinance is legal, binding, and effective.
Okay, thank you. John Warrington.
John Warrington, Towmaster Record Service, 514 West Columbia Street. Since 2008, when this article was originally scheduled to be heard in front of the Commission, we've been asking for a cost analysis. We asked about it at the last council meeting that we spoke of this issue, and I'm proud to announce that Orlando Police Department finally gave it to us 55 minutes before we walked in this door. With that short 55 minutes, taking your cost analysis, I don't know who put this thing together, but it's simple math. It shows on page 1 of the annual administrative $100 a shot, that it was going to cost $56,161.65 annually. On the $10 teletype cost analysis, that was going to produce $61,859.20. The final thing that was on the computer was a physical impact statement that I'd like to show you on the one and only page, where it shows current year's estimate 0, next year's annualized 0, annual cost thereafter 0. Same with operating, and so is capital. Every one of them were 0. But using this new found cost analysis, in which I don't know what's going on or who would do it, but they estimated that there were 1,623 contracts on file. We estimated there's over 4,000, but if somebody, I don't know, in their era wrote down that at the time that this was written and approved by Chief Paul Rooney, only 3,900 cars were towed at $10 apiece. I contacted Orlando Police Department at exactly 1 p.m. and got the last case number for a car that was towed in the city of Orlando for a towaway. 15,494 cars. We added your two figures that's on your cost analysis. It comes out to $201,300. Using the figures that are true, it shows the city, if this ordinance had already been in effect, is $317,240. I don't know who does the math, but I like to come over and help them because I'm sure we can find a couple $1 million laying around somewhere. The next thing that I'd like to show is that using y'all's own figures that's on the computer, and this is a copy of it, it showed that y'all even estimated in 2009 that there was 17,809. So who is sliding this thing through that shows there's only 3,000 cars towed in 2012, when in 2009 it clearly shows 17,000. Somebody's manipulating the numbers to get it past you. And what I did notice last time that we were here, that there was two councilmen present that were concerned about some of the stuff, Commissioner Ings, Commissioner Ortiz, which used to both be Orlando police officers. And what I have a real problem is when we left here, all of us got together, we went in with a clean attitude, we went to the police department, and we sat down and asked for one simple thing, is to take the contracts that are on file now, let us update the signs if that's what it needed to be, take the contracts that are on file and grandfather those contracts in so there's not just hysteria running all over. I for the first time in all the years that I have, 36 years of towing, PWF shows up, they take their time, an actual commissioner from another city shows up, gives him input. We go to this meeting and we ask for one simple thing. And we're always told they're going to run it up the flagpole. So we put them on notice and asked them, who is it that's pushing the buttons that is asking for all this money? We couldn't get an answer to that. We simply wanted to know. Chief Pigman seems to be a really nice guy. I didn't want to just jump all into it, so we tried to do it, and we got nothing but evasive. And what really just burns my behind is we actually had a person that showed up, because it's open to the public, a public hearing that works for another law enforcement agency, that actually had some questions and some input into this. It turns out that evidently this infuriated somebody because somebody fired off a letter to the Sheriff's Department asking why. And as two police officers that are formerly on this council, that's telling me that if this same police officer was driving down the street and saw an action of another police officer and they sided with the person that was not on the side of the police department, say a person was being abused or something, that if they stand up and tell the truth to this city council or to bring up any fresh ideas, they're going to be reprimanded by the city of Orlando and taken down a notch. I don't know who made this rule, but let me be perfectly clear on one thing. If something can't be done about this, and a meeting of halfway on this thing, I guarantee you, I have a man enough to sit there and say, I'm not paying you $100 a contract. I'm not going to write on January the 1st of 2013 a check for $42,000 when your own numbers don't. My one company would generate more profits than your two figures added up. Two figures added up. And it's not, we're trying to be hard to get along with. We met on the $10. We're meeting on the insurance. We're meeting on this property inspection. This is so ludicrous. It actually has on this administrative thing, they actually got a fee, 25 minutes
Time's
to
up.
accept and review.
Your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mike Seaman and then Stan Farron.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Mike Seaman, 4718 Edgewater Drive, Orlando. We did meet with Deputy Chief. I will tell you I was disappointed that your staff would not pursue the Attorney General's opinion, because when I asked if a property owner on normal conditions could have a vehicle towed from their property without the City of Orlando having a contract that accompanied $100 and having tollway signs up, they said no. So that tells me that the property owner cannot have unauthorized vehicles, and they're always unauthorized. Some people use the term illegal, but they're not really illegal. Unauthorized means that someone parked somewhere where someone doesn't want them to. Could be in a numbered parking space. It could be that they simply leave vehicles at apartment complexes, shopping centers. I would ask the commissioners to vote no on this. I don't think that you want to penalize your constituents. A lot of things happen in the towing industry that people don't understand. All the banks that are in the city limits of Orlando, if you ask the president of the bank, is probably going to tell you that their rules and regulations for that bank, that they cannot open that front door in the morning if there's a suspicious vehicle in the parking lot. So that means that every bank needs to have tollway signs. And with this ordinance, most banks never have any cars towed. But with this ordinance, you're going to require that property owner, management company, the bank, to pay the City of Orlando $100 to, in fact, put up a tollway sign at the entrance, so if they ever had that problem, they would be able to open that bank on time and get the vehicle towed. Every apartment complex, every shopping center, condominiums, homeowner associations. A lot of times the tollway signs fixes the problem. You're going to require them to pay $100 for the privilege of a homeowner association in the city limits of Orlando to simply have a tollway sign at that one entrance. The city wants them to pay $100. I do believe my contention is correct. I was part of making this statute, along with one of your colleagues, Senator Victor Crisp, and it is perfectly clear that a property owner can't receive compensation. And if the property owner can't have vehicles towed without the city of Orlando having $100 with a contract every single year, then how can I pay, if I was a tower, how could I pay for that, for you, the property owner? I just don't think it's right to penalize property owners. And the last thing, I checked with Orange County Sheriff's Department. They have an e-tow system that's getting ready to go to all towers. They had a test program. You have the exact same thing in self-reporting to the Orlando Police Department of nonviolent crimes, and get yourself a temporary case number. That's all a tower needs, is a case number to show that they really called the vehicle in within 30 minutes. And if a vehicle owner comes after they parked on someone's property that property owner did not want them to do for whatever reason, they come to get their vehicle, or they call my vehicle stolen, the police department system will say no, Mike's towed it. So we'll be happy to answer any questions. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner, did you want to wait till the...
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Stan Farron.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mayor. Stan Farron, Elite Towing, 907 Southwest 3rd Street, Gainesville, Florida. The idea of the towing company paying the $100, I respectfully disagree with the attorney. I was charged with a felony for picking up trash, for picking up beer bottles and trash from a parking lot of an account that I'd had for 23 years. The statute says a valuable consideration. If you alleviate that expense to that property owner, that's a valuable consideration. So I don't see how the $100 the tower paying that is right. I think y'all are on thin ice on that. Yeah. Just, something to look into.
Okay, thank you. Now, Commissioner Ortiz, did you have a question for the chief or mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. No, it's just a comment I want to make because there's so much ambivalence on this particular ordinance we're trying to pass here. And I was just wondering, I truly feel, and I'm just speaking on my behalf, I'm still a little confused about all this. I do understand our police department because, golly, we go through hell and back trying to make things better for our community and for our residents and constituents out there. But I also feel the pain of the companies here represented. And I'm trying to make ends meet. I'm trying to come to a compromise here. What would be good enough? I understand that the police department also have a bunch of expenses they have to incur in trying to keep up with what would be fair for our community. But on the other hand, a gentleman here, he brought up a good point. For example, the parking lot of a bank, where this very rarely anybody gets a vehicle towed. So why is that particular company having to pay $100 to have their sign? What worries me is that towing companies later on are going to say, well, you know what, since we have to pay this, we're just going to take our business somewhere else, and no business is going to be no towing company. So sooner or later, the private companies are going to come over and then end up paying for this. This may happen. This may not happen. I just feel that we still have to be a little bit more specific. Maybe we have to get down. I don't know, maybe we have to form a smaller committee and maybe have one of the commissioners involved to really get down to the pennies on this particular ordinance so we can really see the pros and cons. I'm trying to be transparent here. I don't want anybody to point a finger at us, at this council, later on saying that you guys are going to look into this or look into that. And I would suggest that we postpone this one more cycle to, and I offer myself, Mayor, if you will, to look into this, because I've been intrigued by this since we started, and I don't want to point a finger. I just want to bring clarity to this problem. So that's where I stand on that. I'm really confused about both sides. So.
Okay, other thoughts, Commissioner Stewart?
Yeah, I've a couple of quick questions for Chief Pigman. I'm looking at the same sheet that he is in the physical impact statement.
Yes, sir.
And I try to explain for me the significant difference between you're doing a arithmetic progression of tows in terms of a case number that you assign to a tow, and they claim that 2012 we're at 17,000 thereabouts, and you show an impact of about 3,900.
There is a discrepancy
between those two.
I'm sorry. There is a discrepancy in the numbers. We do not currently have a program that will pull out the numbers. We have to do it by hand in order to get the correct numbers. Hal Felshaw did that for us. Those are the numbers that we're relying on.
But you have any idea why the discrepancy is you're off 3 times, 10
Right.
times the amount? I mean, I just don't.
Of course, they're counting all tows, and we're only counting non-consensual tows.
Say again?
We're counting all tows. They're counting
Only non-consensual tows.
We're counting non-consensual
Okay.
tows.
So you're
There is a
counting
difference.
those that are impacted by the $10 fee.
That's correct.
And they're
Which
counting
would be.
and every tow, no matter what. If it's a City of Orlando tow, if it's
Yes.
it's a wrecked vehicle tow, whatever it may be, that comes to a grand total number.
That's correct.
Okay. So effectively, what you're telling me is 14,000 tows a year is I guess a consensual tow, but it is not a non-consensual tow.
Right.
Of
It's
what we're doing
not
something.
a non-consensual tow.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I guess administratively, Mayor, I always have a concern about the fiscal impact statement because on the bottom of the statement it says that there's a recurring revenue stream of $220,000 $100,000, it doesn't show it all on the top of the screen. So I don't know, from the standpoint of actually showing which is more accurate. That is confusing, at least to me. I can imagine it'd be confusing to somebody who's not quite as familiar with the same figures that we've got. The $10 fee administratively.
Yes, sir.
That helps offset those costs that we have. And the question you and I talked about last time and privately is how do we provide a higher level of service for that fee?
We researched that, and we found that we do a pretty good job. We actually did look at a system like ETO. It's not ETO per se. It was a different company. They're charging $10 per vehicle per tow, and it does not eliminate a lot of the things that we do in terms of fielding the phone calls, directing the people to the right tow company, and so forth. So that would be addition to the $10 over and above. We're doing it for a lot less as we stand right now. And the numbers that are given by the industry themselves prove that we don't know a lot about a lot of these contracts because they never update us. And so that's part of the problem. We don't know where to send the officers to for the complaints, and a lot of times we have to research that from the communications portion to find out. And the industry themselves have told me, someone will have the contract for a month, and then 2 months later it'll be someone else, and 3 months later it'll be another company. By the end of the day, or the end of the year, you might have 4 or 5 different companies handling that one contract. It's a big problem.
In the midst of that, then, let me ask you that the $100 fee that goes from one company to handle that particular property, that would have to be a renewed fee by a new company?
And hopefully that would eliminate some of that
transfer.
Exactly.
They're going to pick somebody.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We hope so.
It does require that the industry pick people where they think they can make a profit. That's their cost, their risk of doing business. What happens when they no longer want to be able to accomplish that task and people are now parking on private property and an owner without a sign, without anything, because he's not tied to a towing company, now wants a vehicle towed?
There are exceptions in terms of if someone parks on your property, blocks up your business so that nobody can get in and out. That's an exception. You certainly tow in those sorts of situations, obstructing your business. Those types of situations are exceptions.
Okay, which means they are exceptions that they haven't got to be signed.
No contract.
That they can, because they're blocking a driveway or something. An owner could have them moved.
The property owner could call any towing company, and they could come out and remove the vehicle.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Ortiz, I heard your concern. I think from conversation here that the consensus, everybody else is pretty willing to pass this, so I'm going to go ahead and test that. All right. There's a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Okay, passes 6-1. Who is the pro tem one?
Commissioner Lineham.
Lineham, I think.
Commissioner Lineham, I'm going to step in the back for just a minute. So could you handle the next?
To see what was the skinny?
No, the next couple of ordinances.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk, we're now hearing ordinance in second reading, number 2.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, establishing an initial zoning for certain land generally located north of State Road 528, the beach line, south of Lee Vista Boulevard, on the east side of Narcoossee Road, with an address of 7777 Narcoossee Road, comprised of 9.4 acres, more or less, to Plan Development District, providing conditions of the PD zoning district, directing amendment of the official zoning map, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Is there a motion?
Move to adopt.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Those all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Noes? Motion passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, number 3.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan by changing the future land use map designation from residential medium intensity in part and office low intensity in part to office medium intensity on property generally located north of East Livingston Street, south of East Amelia Street, east of North Magnolia Avenue, and west of Ruth Lane, comprised of 4.44 acres, more or less. Also moving the boundary of sub-area policy S14.3 to exclude the subject property, directing amendment of the city's future land use maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to move, Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Eanes. Those in favor, motion say about aye.
Aye.
Noes, nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, number 4.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning portions of alleys 205 and 208, Laureate Park Phase 1A, generally located north of Laureate Boulevard, south of Tavistock Lake Boulevard, east of Lake Nona Boulevard, and west of Narcoossee Road, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt, Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Stewart. Those in favor, let me hear you say aye.
Aye.
Nays, noes, nay. No nays. Motion passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, number 5.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the planned development zoning district regulations for certain real property generally located north of West Oak Ridge Road, south of Interstate Highway 4, east of the Florida Turnpike, and west of Millennium Boulevard, comprised of 69.7 acres, more or less, amending the planned development district's development program, allowable uses, site plan, and conditions of development, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion to adopt and a second by Commissioner Eanes. Commissioner Sheehan is indicating that there is some public comment on this.
No, we need to call for public comment.
Well, it's not a hearing. I didn't think it was a hearing. It's a reading. There was a reading.
Never mind. We're good.
So if that's the case, we did not call for it on the other two.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, they're hearings, so we need to
Yeah.
give an
I was
opportunity
thinking it was
to
just on the
comment.
second reading.
I
Well,
apologize, Commissioner. I should have noted that.
well, if that's the case, Madam Lawyer and Mayor, do we want to back up and change
Can
this?
we, hey, Mayan, can we just correct it by saying, is there anyone from the public
Well, either-
that would
all
like
of
to
those.
testify on any of the last?
Any of the ordinance matters passed today.
Sorry, I just
Second.
Because generally,
It is a
Commissioner,
hearing. It
we
is.
would
I see
have
it here.
a
Yeah.
sheet
Yeah.
turned in already.
Hearing
anyways.
ordinances and secondly, I just saw ordinances and didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So hearing no public comment, and the motion carries. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Nays, no. Noes, nays.
Just in an abundance of caution, since we're going kind of quickly, addressing the audience, does anybody have any comment they want to make to the council about the ordinances that are set forth on the agenda that council has addressed? Does anybody here want to speak to any of those matters?
That's number 2,
Okay,
3,
hearing none.
4,
5.
and 5. Hearing none, motion's good. Well, which one were you interested in? Mayor Dyer, I'll turn this over to you. Number 5. We're just there.
We're just on that now.
So, there you
Okay,
are,
so
Mayor.
you did 2
All the way
through
down to
5.
5.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Madam Clerk, number 6.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending
They wanted
chapter
to hear, they wanted to
55
speak on number 5, I think.
of
No,
the code
chapter
of-
55, I
Oh,
think.
chapter 55, oh, okay.
I'll start over. An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 55 of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida, entitled Regulation of Taxicabs, Limousines, Luxury Passenger Vehicles, Shuttles, and Other Vehicles for Hire. Amending Part 5, Section 55.30, Sub 3, Term of Permit. Amending the term of a driver's permit, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ings. Chief?
Yes, sir.
How about give us a quick little overview on
Rundown.
on taxi?
This is a single amendment to Chapter 55 regarding 1 year versus 3 years. Currently, the driver's permit is filed every 3 years. A lot can happen in those 3 years in terms of criminal histories, suspended driver's license, revoked driver's license, people striking out on their own to be at their own business and so forth. And a lot of things in 3 years fall through the cracks. And for $25 a year, we owe it to our citizens in terms of safety, because they're not hauling lumber. They're hauling our families, our tourists, to make sure that these drivers are safe on the roads.
Okay, questions of the Chief? All right, then we do have 4 appearance cards. So same rules as before, 5 minutes, state your name and address. It'll be Sharon Carpenter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I'm here to represent the United Taxi Drivers Association of Orlando. On the topic of the fees, this $25 every 3 years, and they want to put it to every year, and he said it's because of the, public safety, so forth and so on. I'm aware of, and that's why I'm standing here, is that we can get on any computer, any of us, and do this exact same thing and look up somebody's driver's license for free. Now, these people are hurting enough because they're not allowed to be certain places and so forth. They're already hurting, and they're trying to put more fees every year on something that you can do on a computer for free. So I really don't understand that. They did want me to also read this. They have put this forth, I think, 2001 and 2003. And I'm going to go ahead and read this as fast as I can. The Orlando United Taxi Driver Association is writing this petition to illustrate how the registered taxi permit holders are intimidating, harassing, and even using Orlando Police and Orange County Sheriff Departments to arrest other legitimate taxi operators that are refusing taxi permits by the City of Orlando. The other point I wanted to bring across, because the Mary Ann, the city attorney, she made a mention on the tow truck drivers, on the fact that you can't have kickbacks, or you can't have exclusive contracts with certain companies or certain places for their thing. The same thing here. Mears, they claim to have exclusive contracts with Disney and so forth and so on. If it's not legal for one aspect, tow truck, why would it be legal for a big company to do this? This is where they're really not understanding. Okay. Harassing and even using Orlando Police Department, Sheriff Department to arrest other legitimate taxi operators that are refusing taxi permits from the City of Orlando. These companies are now parading themselves as regulators of taxi business rather than operators. The Department of Vehicle for Hire has been rendered docile. The corruption of the officials of this department needs to be investigated. Many of the officials have been in the office long enough, blah, blah, blah. The characteristics of the officials also need to be diversified to reflect the unique nature of Orlando and the people that are operating taxi businesses in Orlando and its environs. The bylaws, Chapter 55, regulate the taxi business need to be repealed for many reasons. First, its silence on the requirements and modulations needed to establish a taxi business in Orlando, and the officials in the Vehicle for Hire office keep silence on these issues as well. Therefore, the existing permit holders are being protected to monopolize the market. Secondly, Chapter 55 was drafted when the brother of Mears, transportation group owner, was the chairman of the Taxi Commission in Orlando. That explains why his brother owns 99% of the taxi business in Orlando. Mr. Mears owns more than 400 city permits. At the same time, the city denies almost everyone who tries to get one. That is why he is the alpha and omega of the taxi business in Orlando. The only permit available under Chapter 55 for independent operators is Vehicle for Hire, which cannot be used to operate as a taxi but on-call basis only. Coupled with these reasons, the permit holders are using the Orlando Police Department, Sheriff's Department to harass and intimidate members of the association who are not working for them. The market as a whole has been distributed amongst themselves. They claim to have signed exclusive contracts with the owners of these properties. For example, Mears monopolizes all Disney World, SeaWorld, Universal, so forth and so on. If any of our members drop off passengers in any of these locations and are asked to return later for pickup, they are harassed, intimidated, and even accused of trespassing. Even at the Orange County Convention Center, the only open stand that we can work, the situation is the same. For example, the Convention Center officials issue hundreds of permits a year, but have a taxi stand for only 20 cabs. Sometimes they shorten the line to make their lives miserable. The taxi business is too important to the
Ms.
tourist
Carpenter,
industry.
I'm afraid your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you. The next is, I'm sorry, but I just can't read the name. I think it's Adney Demon. Is it Adney? A-D-N-Y.
Did you know that?
My name is Adney Desronville. Yeah, I'm representing the taxi driver, OTDA, the Independent Taxi Drivers of Orlando. And my main concern is that we have a lot of harassment due to the drivers, and independent drivers always have a bad vision, a bad look to the police officers. I'm talking about the Orlando Police Department, also the Sheriff Department, and that's I would like to have them to understand that we are drivers that choose to work in the district on the tourism industry, and we would like them to take us as legitimate workers and choose to work in this industry and helping out Orlando to grow and make. And we are the one that always representing Orlando. When the customers come, they are here, and we present them with happiness, and we take them to where they're going, and we'd like them to be part of the dream that we are living. And we would like you to vote favorably to the taxi drivers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Franklin Proctor.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, all mayors, all commissioners. Good morning, Mr. Body Dias. And I'm here because I'm a father of many people, and I know all of you right here is a father and mother, and you're responsible for your family, to feed your family. Many times when I go and when I go out, because I'm an independent taxi driver, and with the same, we come in together, and many times the police or the sheriff department give me a lot of tickets, but I already pay one of them. Now I have two of them in my hands like this, and it's gonna be $820. But now I can't afford it. But I'm coming with this one, and I want you to help me out with this one. The number is 1366. The other number is 1304. So I would like you to help me out because I cannot afford it, because I don't have no money to pay it. I don't have no money, even no money to feed my family right now. But I just come in because I know that is a meeting right here. I'm coming to explain to all of you as a father, as a mother, and you can help me out with this thing. Thank you so much.
Who is that citation from, sir? Sir. Who is the citation from? Yeah, that's Orange County versus, we don't have jurisdiction over this. This is from Orange County government.
Sir, neither of these drivers have permits with the City of Orlando.
Okay. All right, is Commissioner Lynham.
Just a couple of comments. I didn't quite understand the first speaker, except she was talking about exclusive contracts, and we don't have anything to do with Disney or Universal allowing people, taxis, companies to come. And we do respect independent drivers, but I remember years ago I went into L.A. I was cheated, me and another lady from Seattle, by a taxi driver, and we had just finished a big taxi thing here. I mean, it was big. We had 300 speakers. We took hours and hours in public meetings. And the only reason I was able to sort of protect myself is because I knew how the city of Orlando conducted business. And I called the taxi company that was very happy that I called to file a complaint. They made the taxi driver make me whole, and my friend who was with me from Seattle, Washington. I like the idea that we have to keep passengers safe as best as we can, and to know about someone's background. When a stranger comes in from England or some other country or from some other town, that's the best that I think we can do. There is no guarantee to any passenger, but I've been at this 14 and a half years, and I really respect the way we conduct business with these permits. Mears has more because they're bigger, and how we prorate them each year or whenever we have these permits available, that's fine. But I understand the small independent taxi driver. We just want to have some controls, and I think we do it in a reasonable way. I'm hoping no one has been harassed unless, and I have seen this, when an independent taxi driver goes on private property where they're not supposed to go, knowing they're not supposed to go there. And we have no control over that. When you go to Universal and you're trespassing, I think that's between the taxi driver and Universal, because they have exclusive agreements and contracts with other companies. So I think it's reasonable for a police department to set aside some staff to look every year to update or look into the background and history of what's going on. If it only takes a computer, look up, well, somebody at OPD has to go to that computer, take a few minutes, look up everything in NCIC or whatever it is they're looking for. And it's for the protection of our visitors and our residents. And I think that's the right thing to do to make Orlando safe. As safe as we can possibly guarantee it. And there are no guarantees, but I feel more comfortable because I travel a lot and I use lots of taxis, and when I go to another city, I want to feel reasonably certain that I'm going to be taken care of by my taxi driver. So that's it. It's not to impose any undue burdens on a taxi driver or company, but I just think it's reasonable for a tourist community like ours, especially.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz and Commissioner Raines.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Pickman, correct me if I'm wrong, last time we spoke, and I'm glad you guys correct me. You did stated that 40% of the taxi drivers that were checked had some sort of violations, and thank you for doing that, because when I spoke last time, I spoke lightly and without really recording that in my mind that it was that high of a percentage, so I have to retract and say, as Commissioner Lanham just stated, we have a huge responsibility. 55 million visitors to the city of Orlando. I mean, that's something that not every city gets, and our responsibility is huge. So doing something like this in hindsight, looking at the big picture, is not that bad of a deal. I would actually suggest for taxi drivers to come together and police themselves, because what this has done is you have forced the police department to have to come to this kind of measures in order to make sure that we're being safe and we're providing safety in the city of Orlando to our visitors. So it's not something we take lightly. And once again, I want to thank you guys for making that, bringing that information back to me, because I had not been informed totally, or I did not listen to that part. And when the chief and you corrected me about it, of course I owed you an apology, first of all. And I want to make sure that people know that what we're doing because of the safety that we have to offer to those who come to the city of Orlando. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I was remiss. John Warrington also had a card in here, but I think he left. The tow truck folks. Okay, that's all the general appearances. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Ordinance's first read. Madam Clerk, number 1.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida relating to a street name change, renaming Bellevue Avenue, generally located between Cayley Street and 147 feet north of Pennsylvania Street, to Cool Avenue, directing amendments of the official maps of the City of Orlando, Florida, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Ings. Is there anyone from the public like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida relating to a street name change, renaming a segment of Andes Avenue, generally located west of the northerly extension of Andes Avenue, north of Lake Underhill Drive and State Road 408 East-West Expressway, to George DeSalvia Way, directing amendments to the official maps of the City of Orlando, Florida, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved proudly.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Ings. Is there anyone from the public like to testify on this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending and restating the planned development zoning district regulations for certain real property generally located north of Virginia Drive, south of East Princeton Street, east of Haven Drive, and west of North Mills Avenue, and comprised of 14.22 acres, more or less. Amending and restating the planned development district's development program, site plan, boundaries, and conditions of development, directing amendment of the official zoning map series, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify on this matter?
Jay Adams has been very patient, Mayor. He's in the back there. So, looking forward to this passing.
All right. Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. That concludes the official business of the Orlando City Council for today.